Good morning. This is the Volusia Coastal Conditions Update for February 11th. It's a cool Saturday morning, and we'll start off with the weather forecast for the next couple days. As you can see, we had a cool morning this morning, and it's going to warm up nicely to the mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, going to be even better. Going to make it up into the 80s. Probably offshore, it won't make it above the lower 70s due to the water temp. Then Monday, they're expecting some cloud cover, possibly some kind of front or something, another weak front moving in. As you can see here, the winds pick up, and so I don't expect to get a great satellite image that day. But the next 2 days, I do expect to get a decent image for us to compare to. In this forecast, I'm only going to look at the next 3 days, because who knows what's going to happen after that. It's too variable. So current wind conditions are 2 miles an hour out of the southwest area and 61 outside. Weather cams, let's take a look at those. Starting up in Ormond, you can see there's a still a decent swell coming on. Not a lot of wind chop out on the water. Here's beach headquarters, looking even better there. And here's New Smyrna, about the same. Looks like there's a boat out there, probably moving out of the inlet. Current wave heights on checkthewaves.com, 2.5 feet. And as you can see, that last night, right around just after sunset, the waves really settle out. And the sometime in the middle of the night, the wave period started increasing, which is a good thing. So getting a lot calmer. We do have a low tide in the early morning hours, so it'll be an incoming tide on your way out and an outgoing tide on your way back in, probably. So inlet conditions on the way back in maybe worse than will definitely be worse on the way back in than it is on the way back out. So keep that in mind. Now let's look at the scubaviz.us satellite image. This was yesterday's image, the 9th, or actually it would have been the day before yesterday, before that small front came through. And as you can see, it was already rather turbid water out there, with most of the near shore, or not near shore, but most of the artificial sites with these red squares experiencing relatively poor visibility. Although this green area, which is values under 0.2, did come almost all the way to shore, which means it was starting to clear up. But then yesterday, that swell came through, mucked it all up near shore, and pretty much ruined the diving conditions all the way out to most of the artificial reefs. Now, there looks like there were a few areas that got actually better, or maybe not better, but just didn't get any worse. 4 and 11, which is common. They're deep enough that they don't. If it's just a wind swell, the waves are just not pulling down far enough to churn things up on the bottom. So that's a good thing. So, and also means that some of these other diving areas in the northeast waters, or just straight out in the east waters, like Party Grounds, Half North, East Ridge, all those areas might have some decent diving. I wouldn't expect anything to be more than 20 feet of visibility, but I would expect more than, especially in these areas, I'd expect more than 10 feet of viz. So here's a closer image on that. Like I said, these red squares are the artificial areas, and these white areas are the natural ledges. Black lines are the depth lines. So this is your 100-foot, really that's your 30-meter line, which is 90-some feet. Now this green out here is just on the edge of the clouds. The satellite didn't do a good job of correcting that. But like I said, artificial reefs this weekend, probably not going to work, except 4 and 11 maybe. Your best bet's to stick with these natural ledges if you want to venture out there. The only problem with that is, now we're getting to the sea forecast. Look at these winds in a second. Here's the zone forecast. So the area zone, you're probably all familiar with looking at this NOAA data. And today seas are 2 to 3, and like I said, dominant period pretty close to 10, and it's going to remain that way until the end of the day on Sunday. Now this is the zone forecast. Now the reason why they're putting it up on Sunday is because there's going to be some these west winds are going to start kicking up. So that means near shore, if you want to get fishing in, you can probably fish the near shore reefs. And as you can see here, Sunday, this is the near shore sea conditions. Still Sunday night, 2 feet. So throughout the entire weekend, the conditions are actually going to improve on the near shore for fishing or boating, and really won't get any worse until Monday night, when the winds shift around to the north, from the north. So speaking of the winds, now let's look. Well, before we go to the winds, let's look at this hourly. So here's Sunday, where it's showing 2 feet, and you can see there's a slight western component to the winds. And then sometime Monday night, it becomes a more northern component, northern and mostly west. And then midday through, sometime around midday on Monday, see this is, midday Monday, the winds really get kicking out of the north. So Monday is going to be a transition day where it's going to be all out of whack because we get this strong north wind. So probably not a great day. And as you see, from starts out nice and calm, 2 feet, and just throughout the day it gets worse and worse. So that's why I'm really not in this forecast. Not going to discuss anything past Monday because everything's going to change. So back to the winds. Let's show you what that's doing. Here today we got pretty light offshore winds, and as we go through the day, we get a southern component, and then back Sunday morning, back straight out west, and it remains pretty much west, but pretty light until the end of the day on Sunday, when it starts to really push hard from the west on Sunday. And then Monday we see that turn from the north. So more of the story is this area out here, if you're really hard up to diving and you got a decent sized boat and you want to venture out there, might be some diving out there. If you're just fishing, you might as well just stay close to shore and stay on the near shore reefs or something inshore. Sea conditions will be much calmer, and the much easier day to deal with all that. So I hope all of you found this report useful, and have fun out there. Be safe. Post your reports on VolusiaReefReport.com.